Good day, everybody. Everything new under the sun. A quick little update here about the solar eclipse, the news that is happening. A lot of interesting things, and you got to kind of follow high level the headlines and the things that are going on, and read between the lines. For a lot of these things, we don't know if anything will come of these things, but interesting warnings here. This is from Twitter, concerned citizen, and this is a video of was it American News Network here. They're warning citizens to fill up your gas tanks and do all sorts of things. So this is frequently top up your gas tanks, in preparation for the solar eclipse. Charge your electric vehicle. Have a preparedness kit. Items like paper maps, snacks, drinks, and cell phone chargers. I'm going to talk about some intelligence about potential attacks happening in the future. I don't know if it's related to this or not. Have a communications plan. Look at that. Maybe have a ham radio, FRS, have agreements with friends and family how you're going to communicate should the cell networks go down. Interesting that they're going crazy with all this. At best, they're because this is a once in a lifetime thing. They think millions upon millions of people are going to all converge on the same location and use up all the gas and slow down the cell phone networks enough that it might cause trouble with people getting text messages through or emergency services. And at worst, it's some sort of psyop potentially. It says nowhere to take shelter if there is an event. Isn't that interesting? An event? Okay. Ominous. Having these conversations ahead of time is important. And the guy says, all of this for an eclipse is this just one massive American psyop, or do they know something? Let's listen to this here.
Before a big travel day is smart. If you'll be traveling around Ohio, motorists should be sure to frequently top off their gas tanks, and to fully charge their electric vehicles. Have a preparedness kit in your car and items like paper maps, snacks, drinks, cash, and a cell phone charger. It's a good idea also to have a communications plan if you're traveling with your family or friends in case you're separated. Know where to meet up. Have a place to meet up. Know where to take shelter if there's an event. Having those discussions ahead of time are critically important.
Okay, that's pretty crazy. She's saying everything that a prepper is going to do anyways. And one important thing is to have cash on hand. It's always good to have cash on hand. If a natural disaster comes through, the first thing that's going to work for the first couple of days is cash. People will accept cash. I told the story before, but during Fiona, the next 2 days after that, cell phones, electricity, Interac was all down. You had to use cash. It was cash or nothing. They were literally counting cash at the till and accepting only cash. And so it's going to work for a little while. But again, interesting. She speaks of, if there's an event. It's a solar eclipse. This happens every, 50, 60 years, whatever it may be. It happens all the time in, wherever you are. It actually happens, what is it, I think twice a year, somewhere in the world or somewhere over the oceans where this occurs. So this is not some big, out of the ordinary sort of event. This is God's timepiece, the solar system, keeping track. Now, I do think prophetically that God is going to do things on these dates and seasons. For example, Revelation chapter 6. Just before the wrath of God falls, you can read chapter 6, verse 12, I believe it is there, where the sun and the moon go dark. And this is kind of the kickoff of the wrath of God. But we're not there yet. This solar eclipse is not that. You can very well use it as a warning. It may indeed be a warning, and it should wake us all up and say, you know what, God is in control. And the Bible does speak about the sun going black, but this is not it. It's just incredible that they're warning of this, and this is all of a sudden a major event. And it could turn out to be, this could be a self-fulfilling prophecy as people congregate in the same location and things happen. What a great opportunity, isn't it, for someone to do something, terrorist attack, black swan event, whatever it may be. You need to be prepared, and all of us need to be prepared, but it's fascinating that they're going so hard with this right now. This is Zero Hedge. Intel community warns of possible threats to public gatherings. Now, the big public gathering is tomorrow for the solar eclipse all across the United States. That video clip was in Ohio. We have dangerous individuals entering the U.S. and entering the United States have a variety of sources, Ray says. Fast forward to Friday, U.S. intelligence bulletin warns radicals in the U.S. might respond to ISIS calls for similar attacks in the wake of last month's deadly terrorist attack on Moscow. So they're looking effectively and warning for potential reprisal from Moscow for what Moscow has now decided was a Ukrainian terrorist attack, basically on the Crocus Hall there. Their ISIS Muslim members paid cash, and seems like they have ties to Ukraine there. So something to think about. Would this be a great opportunity for Russia to do something? It would, and it doesn't matter what's happening now. You should stay away from large groups. It's just smart in this day and age. We're so divided. The love of the Lord is few and far between these days with folks, and the love of many is waxing cold. So it would be a good opportunity if someone wanted to take advantage of it. This is the FAA warning about air travel on Eclipse Monday. It's fascinating how much they're doing related to this. It's almost as if they think the sun is the great boogeyman, and there's something supernatural about it that they don't know what to expect. The FAA has issued a warning for air travel on Eclipse Monday, April 8th, advising both pilots and passengers of the unusual conditions that could occur during the day and impact flights around the continental United States. What unusual conditions are going to occur other than the sun, the eclipse, the totality moving over a specific location along that line, for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it may be? Is that going to cause unusual conditions? Are they expecting some other electromagnetic thing to occur? I don't know. What are they talking about? In an alert to pilots, the FAA wrote, the purpose of this notice is to inform airmen of the possible impacts to air traffic in airports along the eclipse path. Now, again, I don't know what effect this would have on airports. The worst thing it's going to do is that they're going to have to fly IFR, instrument flight rules, instead of VFR, using visual flight rules, because it will go dark for a period of time. But the large aircraft are all run by computers and GPS anyways, and the solar eclipse is not going to affect GPS. So what are they warning about, is the question. In a warning to passengers, the FAA is advising everyone to remain patient with possible delays caused by the solar eclipse. While most travelers are heading to their favorite vacation destinations, a significant number of travelers are heading to various states to witness the great North American eclipse. So, again, interesting. By the way, did you know that there was another container ship that lost power? Kind of similar to the Port of Baltimore bridge collapse. This ship lost power. It needed 6 tugboats to finally bring it to a stop just ahead of the bridge it was heading towards. Container ship reportedly lost power in New York Harbor right before Verrazano Narrows Bridge. A massive container ship lost power. According to Captain John Conrad, New York City tugboat captain informed him that a 354-meter container lost power while transiting New York Harbor. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that just exactly what happened with the Baltimore incident? The ship unexpectedly, mysteriously lost power just ahead of a major bridge. Now, they were able to get... initially, they had 3 tugboats on it to escort it after they realized they lost power. They needed another 3 to actually bring that ship under control and stop it. And they stopped it near the bridge. Likely that's what they would have done in Baltimore. But again, you have to ask the question, this mysterious power outage, this is not a common thing that I'm aware of. But another one, when a second one happens like this, you got to start asking the question, is something going on here? Are there some cyber attacks happening? Folks, I think this would indicate that, you should bet on the side of there being cyber attacks in this day and age versus not. I think the chance that it is much higher with all of the things we're doing in Ukraine, in Russia, and it would make sense that Russia would do something like this, via, making use of plausible deniability and these sort of odd circumstances to destroy some of our infrastructure ahead of war. What do? The first thing they do in war, they take out communications. The second thing is they take out roads, bridges, transportation, train lines, train routes, airports. So what would countries be doing if World War III was coming? Well, they'd start trying to take out transportation lines, start trying to cut those supply chains and those networks. So this is exactly what would happen if we were headed to World War III. Here's an interesting one. I'll just add in as a side. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I made a note on another video that when the guy said subscribe, the subscribe button lit up. So you can let me know if every time I say subscribe, if it lights up for you. I think that's kind of interesting. But I never ask people to subscribe or support the channel. But if you're interested and willing, please do. If you want to become a member, I'd be happy for you to become a member as well. I do try and release my videos to members immediately, and then schedule the release of that video later. So members always get the first viewing, and that first viewing of the video is often hours ahead, if not even days ahead of when everybody else sees it. So if you want to get on top of the information, that's a good way. Swiss to hold a referendum that will restrict population to 10 million until 2050. How are they going to restrict their population? If approved, the referendum will ensure Switzerland maintains sustainable demographic development by restricting the permanent resident population of the wealthy European country to 10 million. Boy, oh boy, how do they do that? And what if they go over 10 million? Do they need to start euthanizing people? This is a scary situation when you start making referendums and laws about the number of people you can have in a nation, and what do they do to get to those numbers down or up, whatever it may be. It's going to come to a point where they're going to start allowing public executions and euthanizing people and allowing people to medical assistance in dying, that sort of thing. If they're depressed, give them the options to do away with themselves in the name of trying to keep their country under 10 million. So this is a scary precedent for the Swiss. And you know what? All Western nations are going this way. I don't see that Canada or United States is much different. How do you find a free country to go to? Folks, it's getting hard to kind of understand where those free countries are that you could move to, when your government goes totalitarian. And I think we're headed there to dictatorships, effectively. They rule our lives with laws, restrictions, all sorts of things. They're trying to get rid of home gardens in Europe, across Europe. They're trying to get rid of backyard chickens, all in the name of public health and safety, right? But they're removing your freedoms left, right, and center. And I don't know where you go anymore. This is an update from Israel. Lebanon, immediate ceasefire or inevitable disaster. Lebanon, the country, the government, apparently, with Hezbollah, is looking to stop the war, maybe come to the peace table, maybe create a demilitarized zone, because it suggests that Hezbollah miscalculated their support for Gaza and Hamas, and realizes that Israel's going to take them out, like they started taking out every single leader of Hamas. Hezbollah doesn't want that, so Hezbollah wants to come to the peace table. So that's interesting. It says this turn of events suggests Hezbollah may have miscalculated the situation in Gaza and Israel when it decided to engage in supporting Hamas. The Gaza conflict unfolded differently than anticipated, with Israel responding aggressively. Remember, this is like a bully. When a bully comes at you, it's not going to help to try and talk peace or reconciliation to that bully. The bully doesn't care. What the bully understands is force, is strength. If you come back at that bully with force and strength, as with Israel with the Arab neighbors, they respect strength. They respect force. What they disrespect and will come at you harder for is peace and conciliation and land for peace, all this kind of thing, because they'll ask for an inch and take a mile when it comes to that sort of thing. So apparently Hezbollah realizes the writing on the wall, sees Israel's strength in Gaza, and is pulling back. That's good for Israel. They don't need another theater of action of war around their country. Will this work or not? I don't know, but it's an interesting situation. The other thing to follow up on, and I'll leave you with this, is that Israel's, there was a CIA warning about 48 hours for an attack. Iran is probably biding its time, just like the Crocus attack where U.S. warned Russia, on the side, non-officially, if you will. I think it was 2 weeks before that they said there would be a terrorist attack on a theater, or on theaters maybe, in Moscow. 2 weeks later, it came true. So it could be the same thing with Iran, where CIA heard some intelligence, heard some chatter, and now Iran's going to wait more than 48 hours. But there is a warning there, and it seems like there is something afoot. When you warn of a danger, the person who's going to do that danger puts it up because their cover is blown, right? So they wait until a later time. So this 48 hours probably stretches to a week, 2 weeks at this time. But high watch period for Israel. They've put all their public on notice, all their military men and women on notice. There are no holidays for them, and they're approaching, I believe it's the end of Ramadan. I don't know when that actually ends, but they're high watch period right now because significant threats and of violence and incursions from Iran, and we're going to see how Iran responds. So, thanks for watching. Be prepared. Go fill up your gas tank. Not because we didn't know about this before. You're a prepper, and hopefully you're prepared already. But when the government starts saying something like that, even more cause for concern, because what do they know that, they're not going to tell us something's going to happen because they don't want to panic people. But what they will do is come out and try and front run it and say, look, we told you to be prepared. But they're not going to tell you that they knew something was coming. So if you're not prepared, they said, well, we told you that, that's the best we could do. So you need to be prepared whether or not the government's saying it. And when the government is saying it, you need to be prepared even twice, 3 times, 4 times as much for whatever may be coming. So thanks for watching. I'll leave it there. We'll see you in the next video.